They will open a new avenue of users, really, because not everyone does want to use these the injections. So I think they do have potential, but I think we, again, need to be really careful about it because these are not aesthetic drugs. They are powerful medications.
Yesterday, the pill version of Wegovy, the weight loss drug, went on sale in the UK for the very first time. It is available through Superdrug's online doctor portal with a prescription before it becomes available in store. Dr. Jack Mosley is a GP registrar, the author of Food Noise, How Weight Loss Medications and Smart Nutrition Can Silence Your Cravings. And he is also the son of Dr. Michael Mosley, the TV presenter, inventor of the 5-2 diet and the Fast 800 author, who died 2 years ago in June. I'm delighted to say that Jack joins me in the studio this afternoon. Good afternoon, Jack.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. It's really lovely to have you here. Jack, we do have to start with the anniversary of losing your dad 2 years ago now, last month. How are you and your mum and your siblings doing now?
We're doing okay. It's obviously been a really difficult time, but in some ways it has kind of brought us closer together as a family, and I think that's something my dad would have really liked. He was always... He was actually much more of a shy person than you might imagine, but he was very much a family man, and the people who were close to him mattered a lot to him, and he was instrumental in keeping us close as a family.
And now you're, I think I'm right in saying, the only doctor in your siblings, is that right?
That's correct, yes. Yeah. I've got 3 siblings, the only doctor.
Yeah, so you've been carrying on your dad's legacy, spearheading the Fast 800 online programme. Did you always know that you wanted to follow in his footsteps?
I've grown up around doctors. My mum and my dad were both doctors. In fact, my grandparents were doctors too. So I think some of their passion really rubbed off on me. My parents met at medical school, and my mum became a GP and my dad essentially became a broadcaster. But he spread kind of this message of improving people's health and well-being through the media. And I think particularly after improving his own diet and lifestyle and reversing his own type 2 diabetes when he was in his early 50s through the 5-2 diet, he became extremely passionate about improving people's metabolic health. And like I say, a lot of that passion has rubbed off on me too. So I think they are real inspirations to me.
I know that, he's very, very well known for testing things out on himself, making himself his own guinea pig. When you were growing up, was he always like that at home?
He was always quite not unusual. He was a unique and wacky character, I would say, 100%. That's really what made him who he was. And I guess we did have a slightly unusual childhood on that front. We had a pet leech that had his own blood. Larry the leech made a break for freedom, but I think it got caught by the cat, unfortunately. But he was always doing these strange things in the name of science, experimenting on himself.
He gave himself a tapeworm once, didn't he?
He did, exactly. A pet tapeworm too. So he did pick the ones that don't go straight to your brain, which was kind of him. And he also got rid of them before they had the chance to spread. But my mum probably wasn't too happy about that. But he was always doing these weird and wacky things in the name of science and making himself the guinea pig, the patient and the doctor simultaneously. And I think that was part of his appeal on that front.
Absolutely. Now, as I said, you are carrying on your father's legacy, spearheading the Fast 800 online programme. It's fascinating what people have sort of found fasting has done. Obviously, weight loss, was I guess what your dad first invented it to do, was weight management. But the other side of it is the longevity side of it. And longevity is, I would say, it's probably the word of the year already. It's such a boom industry. You've got the extreme ends of it, people like Andrew Huberman and Brian Johnson doing all of their very wacky stuff. But also, saunas, supplements, earthing mats. How does fasting affect longevity?
Well, I'll just address kind of the Fast 800. Firstly, it's a weight management and healthy lifestyle program that my parents set up to really help people lose weight and keep it off, but also helping with these things, like you say, with this healthy aging was a really important part of that, and providing those kind of health coaches, personalized recipes and trainer-led support, because I think everyone wants to age well at the end of the day. No one wants to live forever if your quality of life's quite poor. So fasting is just kind of one component of that, and I think fasting is The interesting thing with fasting is it's great to help people lose weight as a kind of alternative to the weight loss medications, but it can also help people keep that weight off for some people who are coming off the weight loss medications. But in terms of aging as well, it's switching that body from a period of continuous growth to kind of that rest and repair. And by fasting, your cells go through this process called autophagy, which is where you're cleaning out the dead cells. So it can really improve your metabolic health, but your overall health, and is a option that many people have used to lose weight and improve their health for the long term.
As you say, some people who've maybe used weight loss drugs and come off them can maybe combine that with fasting as a sort of as an ongoing process. Because we do have to talk about the weight loss drugs, because I mean, you know, your book Food Noise addresses all of this too. So this week the pill version of Wegovy arrived in the UK. I mean, 5 years ago we didn't have any of this on the open market. Then we had the injections, and now we've got a pill. There are already, I think, up to 3 million people estimated to be using weight loss jabs in the UK. That's obviously going to rise with the arrival of the pill. In the US, it's more than 1 in 8 people who've taken them already. How do you see this very rapid and very widespread development?
It is fascinating to see, and these are the groundbreaking medications. I think that is without doubt, but they do have their downsides if you don't, you know, have the right diet and pursue those kind of healthy lifestyle changes and habits alongside of it. And that's something I do talk about in my book, Food Noise. I think the weight loss medications, the oral medications, such as the oral semaglutide that's coming out, and there's another medication called orforglipron, which will be coming out soon as well. They will open a new avenue of users, really, because not everyone does want to use these the injections. So I think they do have potential, but I think we again need to be really careful about it, because these are not aesthetic drugs. They are powerful medications, and there can be downsides. For instance, you know, if you're not eating a good quality diet, then you might get some of these nutritional deficiencies, muscle loss. You might not lose as much weight. So I think it's so important to make sure you are ingraining these habits for the long term, really.
The malnutrition is an interesting thing, isn't it? Because if people are eating less, but what they are eating isn't of nutritional value, you actually have people suffering from malnutrition while losing weight, which is sort of extraordinary.
Yeah, so I think the term is overfed and undernourished, and that's what we're kind of getting from these the rise of all these ultra-processed junk foods that don't have much, you know, good nutrition in. They're kind of adult baby food is what they've been described as, whereas you know, whole foods as part of the Mediterranean style diet is packed full of nutrients. But like you mentioned, fasting can be one way for people who stop the weight loss medications to kind of keep that weight off for the long term.
I mean, the genie is out of the bottle with the weight loss drugs, isn't it? And I think they are here to stay. I mean, we had a really interesting piece in the Times magazine earlier this year about all the unexpected side effects of the drugs. I mean, as you say, they're very new. None of these things are tested, you know, over a very long period of time at all. But people were talking about taking them for one thing and then ending up, you know, with curbing their drug, alcohol, sex addictions, curing endometriosis. We had one woman, which is most unexpected. Menopause symptoms lessening, brain fog, joint pain, hot flashes. A woman who'd had brain injury saw her symptoms from that, including impaired memory and vision. I mean, part of it is reducing inflammation, isn't it? The way they interact with blood sugar levels. People saying that insulin resistance is having all these knock-on benefits. I mean, is it bad that people are trying them for all of these things, you know, if they're working?
I think where we do have to be careful is they are for people who have who are overweight with obesity-related diseases. That's the kind of area where they have been experimented. That's the area where all the research is. We just don't know what the long-term effects of someone of a healthy BMI, a healthy body weight. So I think they do have a huge amount of potential. And you mentioned some really interesting areas where there is a lot of potential. But I think we still have to be a bit cautious with some of these things. Some of it will be that if you do, you know, obesity is strongly related to inflammation. If you are living with too much fat, that can increase your inflammation. So obviously losing that fat can improve it. So yeah, I think it's still a lot to be uncovered about these medications, but I think they have a lot of promise for a certain group of people.
What would be your advice for people who do struggle with food noise but don't want to stay on weight loss drugs forever and unfortunately aren't Ed Gamble and can't make a career out of it?
Well, food noise is such an interesting area, and I think it's a term that rose to prominence because of the weight loss medications, because they are so effective at silencing or at least quietening that food noise, which can be really disruptive to people's lives. It can be quite distressing for some people, and some people just wake up, they're constantly thinking about food, whether because of their environment or their genetics. So I'll just, five quick ways to help manage that food noise can be, I think, firstly, we can't control the food environment that we go out, and we are surrounded by these processed junk foods wherever we go, but you can try and control your food environment in your own home. So removing some of those processed junk foods from the cupboards can be a good start, and filling them in with these nutritious foods. And I think on that point, planning your meals ahead for the week can, plan your meals ahead for the week can be a really good approach. So, say, for instance, on a Sunday afternoon, getting all those nutritious foods in so you don't resort
batch cook soup.
Exactly, that's the way. So that you kind of don't resort to those, those default positions when you're stressed, when you come back from work. I think, thirdly, I've mentioned eating filling foods is obviously really important, but with plenty of protein, healthy fats and fibre.
Very, very quickly, in 2 seconds, the last two.
And I think managing your stress, and don't go too hard on yourself, because when you feel guilty, then that can make everything that much worse.
Thank you so much, Jack. Jack is a GP registrar and author of Food Noise.